Today I'm at Shelsley Walsh, and it's the oldest running racetrack in the world, I believe. I think that's what I've just been told. There's a watermill behind me, and I'm going to have a look at that. And it's a lovely day, and I'm just about to show you some beautiful cars that are parked up. I've got my nephew here, Patrick, and he's in the members section, would you believe? He's got a little badge that can get us in to see the watermill area. Hi, this is another day, and I'm just about to show you a makeup application session because one lady wrote on my comments from a previous video, it'd be nice to see me putting my makeup on. She was talking about the way my eye makeup was. So be prepared. This is a 59-year-old lady with no Botox, no work done, and hasn't had a facial in years. So do take that into consideration. If you want to fast forward the video, please do. I will look pale to start with, but then the makeup gets slapped on. So I hope you enjoy the segment. I was just thinking to myself, when I was watching Joan Collins many years ago in my teens, how she always said to maintain good skin, she always used Nivea. I think it's either Nivea or Pond's. I think she said Nivea. And I used that for years, and it hasn't got any active ingredients in. But these days, if I can get hold of one that's got salicylic acid or niacinamide in or retinol, then I go with that. But otherwise, if I can't get hold of it, just any moisturiser, as long as I keep out the sun. But this week when we had sunshine, I did go into it. I thought, you need the vitamin D, and did sit out in the sun for a bit, and it's been very nice. And as long as you don't burn yourself, isn't it? Anyway. Less of the chat, I'll show you what I started off with this morning with my face. I meant to say, if you've noticed my little makeup bags, these are travel bags because they've got an aeroplane on, and I got them off Amazon because last time I got told off for not having the right bag years ago. They're meant to be clear, aren't they? So there's one in blue, one in white, and one in pink with all my bits and bobs. And I'll just take one bag with me when I go away because that's all you're allowed, isn't it, or something like that. Anyway, yeah, they're handy, zippable, and keep all your liquids in there. Okay, so I'll leave it there. I'm applying the first layer of foundation, and I've gone for NARS in Mont Blanc as the colour. And I've only recently bought makeup brushes because I always thought that they can cause infection. But I did buy just a normal set from a local chemist, and sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. I do for the blusher. So I actually ordered this NARS because I like the concealer, but I decided to order this different concealer, which is in a little pot this time. So this is in Mont Blanc. You can go and get your shade either in a store, or you can actually order it online and put your previous foundation type in. So I put L'Oreal, whatever it was that I used to wear, and then it matched the colour, which is good online. So I actually think this is a very good match. And I like the consistency because it's thicker than the previous one. You see, over the years, I've used all the cheaper ones in the shop. Chemist type ones, Rimmel, Maybelline and L'Oreal. And I decided that I'd try something a bit different. Now I'm a bit older. So I went for the recommendation by Andrea Ali, because she's a Parisian makeup artist, a French makeup artist, and she's on a channel of her own. So I was watching her apply her makeup, and she said the Giorgio Armani Luminous foundation was a good one, and it does go on nicely, but I found it a bit thin. You can buff up with blusher and all the rest of it, but I wanted something that's just slightly thicker, and I think this has got a slight thicker consistency, medium to full coverage. So that's me having put it on. I'm just going to try this concealer, which I've not tried. And this is in Chantilly, the same colour. This is quite pale, but I thought maybe I'll stick with the same one. Just go a shade lighter than the foundation. Similar. So we'll see. Just going to use my mirror just to see what I'm doing. And I have had dark circles because the whole of my life I've been getting up 3 or 4 times a week in the night to my son, who has a diagnosis of epilepsy. So I have been getting up a lot. I'm amazed I haven't got bags down to my chin. Well, I'm impressed by that because it's taken a lot of the darkness away. I've got quite deep set eyes anyway. I'm impressed with that. And I am prone to getting eye infections, so I'm really careful taking makeup off. I have to make sure not only do I use products to take it off. I mean, this week I'm using this. Clean and Clear, not Deep Clean. Clean and Clear Creamy Face Wash. The Deep Cleansing Lotion after you've actually put cleanser on. And this is a moisturiser. Dual Action Moisturiser with salicylic acid. That has got an active ingredient in it. A lot of the creams now, they say you should have niacinamide and all sorts put in them. You know, retinol overnight. I just try anything I can get my hands on. But I'm happy to have this NARS. I think it's a very good brand for coverage. Now, in the past, if I found that I wanted to dab some coverage on, I always go with the Max Factor Nouveau Beige number 13. Old-fashioned Max Factor in the day, if you just want to just top up any blemishes. That's what I've done in the past. But it looks like this concealer is quite good at that anyway. Right, I've used that. And I've got a foundation brush that I've cleaned. You're meant to buff up, aren't you? Let's have a look. Right, I'm going to end the camera there and switch back on in a second. I'm back. I did mean to say that when I prep my skin with my moisturiser, I do put the Inky List polyglutamic acid dewy sunscreen on normally. I didn't do it today, I forgot. But because I'm not upstairs, I've just generally put it on and it gives a sort of a nice soft base for your makeup to go onto. And you know you've got an SPF on as well. Now, I haven't really spent much time with this brush, but hey, we will go straight in with the eyebrows. I just buy, this one is a Revolution Makeup eyebrow colour. Whoops. And this is just one I picked up at the local chemist. But I might try the Anastasia Beverly Hills one because it's a gel and you can get clear gel and you can get ones with a bit of brown in just to fill in the gaps, because as you get older your eyebrow gets thinner or blonder or greyer, you know, and you just want to puff it out. I mean, I always had really quite thick eyebrows. And when I was, you know, my 10, 11, 12, I used to be golden haired. And then when I hit 15, my hair went really dark. In fact, my mum's neighbour thought that my mum had dyed my hair. It went really dark at 15, and my sister went really blonde. And she kept asking my mum, have you dyed the children's hair? Mum said, why would I do that? And, you know, it was just the fact that my eldest daughter was mousy. I went really dark, and Debbie went really blonde, my sister, younger sister. So that's the way it just went, hormone-wise. And when I go to the hairdressers now, I say, don't make it too dark. And on Thursday, I'm actually going to have some balayage, I think it's called. Is it balayage? Where they're going to put some caramel in just to soften up the darkness, because I don't want to be too dark, because I'm quite pale. But again, I don't want to go blonde either. So it's one of those, isn't it? Well, hopefully it'll turn out. But yeah, so we've got the base on. Got my NARS, which is in Mont Blanc. I've got a bit of concealer, either one, but I quite like this one. Putting on, it's easier to do with the pot. And that's in Chantilly, like that one was. Buff it up a bit. And I'm now going to go in with a bit of eyebrow just to fill in, and you can use a pencil obviously if you've got a decent pencil. Because I've got hair there, I just keep gliding over back and forth. I've never had them shaped either, so you're probably looking at me thinking, why the hell haven't you had them shaped? But they've always gone in a line anyway. I can't sort of get them to go up. And I certainly don't want them looking like big fat slugs above my eye. I just don't think it would go very well. My computer that I'm on now has got 4K resolution, so it's very, very clear. If I was on my mobile phone, it wouldn't be as clear. So you're seeing warts and alls. Apologies if you don't like the look of it, but that's life. So you can see I can fill in, and I'm just colouring what's there that just isn't darker anymore. And it's sort of slight gelish, you know, it doesn't say that it's a gel, it says, what does it do? Well, it says it is, it just says for eyebrows. I'm happy with that. In terms of eyeshadows, I've mentioned before that I have the Soft Glam palette, which is Anastasia Beverly Hills, and the Spice palette. I'll put a link below if you're interested. They do come, the Spice palette is sparkly, and the Soft Glam palette has got one or two sparkly ones. But I always like Trinny London's eyeshadows. And because I had an eye infection recently, I threw all mine away and I shouldn't have done. I'm annoyed because I don't dip brushes in. I generally dip my finger in, and then if I want to move the eyeshadow around, I can get a brush. I did find a beautiful brush, talking of brushes for my eye, at the garden trading shop in Broadway. And I do like it. I don't know where I've put it now. Have I put it? Oh, here it is. And it's the only time it's called, I don't know what it is. Who's the make? Doesn't actually say make. It says Precise Shader Brush, number 202. It comes in a little drawer, and I wash it every time I use it. I don't wait a week, like they say, wash your brushes every week. If I'm going to use this, I would actually wash it straight away. Now, Trinny London has different colours of eyeshadow, but they're a cream base, and you'd think as you were older you wouldn't want cream. The other ones are powders that I've just shown you, the Anastasia Beverly Hills. But this is a cream one, and one of her most popular ones is called Wisdom, because it's brown. You put your finger in, or you can use that. And it's a sort of just a general putty brown colour. I go into the sockets of my eyes and work out. And it's a buildable colour. I've got one called Moon here, which is like a silvery colour. It's nice. But I won't use that today. I'll just use my fingers just to blend out, so there's no harsh line. And you should always make sure you go up here. Keep a line going so you don't actually have eyeshadow coming down the edge. And if you need a bit of concealer, you dab a bit of concealer on and cover any splodges that you've made. So that's Trinny London. Now then I sort of change over to my Anastasia Beverly Hills, because sometimes I like a bit of sparkle. And watching Andrea Ali, the makeup artist in Paris, she always says, get a little bit of sparkle and put it on the middle. just press it onto the middle, and it gives you a bit of brightness. She doesn't say put it anywhere else, just in the middle, and because it sort of reflects off your eyeball. So I've been doing that. And now I'm going to show you my little recent purchase, which is a Victoria Beckham eyeliner, because I didn't want anything that was harsh. Supermarket ones I've had in the past are quite scratchy and cheap, quite frankly. And I don't want my eye scratched to encourage any bacteria. So I've got a Victoria Beckham one. This is in olive green. It's called, what's the colour? Oh, it's definitely olive green. Yeah, olive. And I'm just going to put a bit on the edge. Nothing too much, just on the edge. I'm not one of these that can go in on the actual eye line, because I would get an eye infection. No question about it. I've got two mascaras here, which I adore. I used to have Rimmel in the past. I loved Rimmel and Maybelline. And then I thought I'll try something else. And I got a set at Christmas, which was double wear, Estee Lauder. And I love the brush. Look at the brush on this. It's very fine. So it separates all the lashes really well. But I also like Yves Saint Laurent. I haven't tried Lash Clash, but this is an Yves Saint Laurent. It's got a bit thick, but I do like the fact that it gives you such volume. And I've got long eyelashes. You can't tell. They look very blonde. But I'm going to go in with the mascara now. And again, I don't go under my actual eye line. Yeah, they always say go under. I don't, because I would have an eye infection. So I just go on the edge. With a recent eye infection, I did lose some eyelashes, which isn't great. And just to make sure I take every ounce of makeup off of a night, it looks like I've taken everything off, and then I go in with a product called Blephagel, because I was getting blepharitis and irritation. And even when it looks like I haven't got a speck of makeup, I get a cotton pad with Blephagel, and there's always a tiny bit of mascara on. And I think, oh, that just shows you that I think my makeup's off, and it isn't. So, yeah, I use that just to get final thing. And then sometimes put a bit of castor oil on with a tiny drop of tea tree oil. So it's like one tiny drop of tea tree oil, essential oil, to a tablespoon of castor oil, and then just dub it on the end of my eyelashes just to make sure that it's all antimicrobial and there's no infection going to start up again. So there's a bit of mascara then. Let me just go in with a bit of this one, the Yves Saint Laurent, just to show you. It's a bit gunky at the moment. It's gone a bit thick, but just to do the ends. Now you'll notice I'm a bit like, who was that actress my mum used to say, I reminded her of? The one that says, I want to be alone. What's the name? Not Zsa Gabor, what's the other one? Oh, she'll come to me in a minute. I'll look at it. I'll switch the camera off and I'll look her up. I'm back. It's Greta Garbo. She used to say, I want to be alone. And my mum said, I reminded her of that, because I love being on my own. And anyway, she always said in films in the turn of the century, she made sure that she didn't have mascara or anything on the bottom part of her eye, because the shadows that were cast made her look like she had dark eyes. And I go with that, because I used to put it on, I'd look like a spider. So now I don't. Now I do see makeup artists go underneath, and I thought I don't want to cause other infections, so I'm just going to make sure I have my eye makeup on the top, and I don't think it looks too bad. I have always in the past, as I say, done it or put eyeliner underneath, and then by the end of the day I'd look like I've going bleh, look smudged everywhere. It smudges, so my eye shape has changed, getting older, so I don't do it. I just put it on the top. And yeah, I'm going to put some blusher on now, so let's have a little look. A bit of mascara's gone down there. Right, blusher. I was listening to Andrea Ali, and she said if you apply a cream blusher first, now I haven't got a cream blusher, I've got lipsticks. She says you apply that first, go for a red because you've got red blood. This is a lipstick. Put it on, and then she says put a powder blush on top. And I've gone with what she recommended, which was RMS Beauty Crystal Slipper colour. And she says it stays on then if you do that. So let me see. Because people were saying to her, how do you get your blusher to stay on and not slide off? And that's what I've always found over the years. She says a bit of cream first and powder on the top and it should stay on. And it does. So that's a great tip from her. So that's the blusher. I used a lip liner the other day and I looked ridiculous. When I was doing the scarves, I kept seeing it on the video, thinking it looked all wonky and wrong. And that's just me not being very good with lip liner. So I'll try one again. See how I get on. Oh. I don't know whether this is a lip liner, just a minute. I found this at the bottom of my makeup bag. I must have bought it. It says Berry Bliss. Looks like a colour for the lips, but Maybelline tattoo liner. I don't know whether it's for eyes or lips, but anyway, I'll put it on my lips. I have got an Anastasia Beverly Hills one, but it's brown, and I'm not really a brown type of girl. It doesn't go. But I'll put this Revlon Colour Stay lipstick on and see what we get. It's called That Girl 008. I'm convinced this lip liner is really a pencil for the eye. But anyway. That's the look. I've always worn makeup because it makes me feel alert and alive. If I don't go out with makeup, I really don't feel alive. But that's the way I feel. And yeah. Bit of colour on your clothes and you're away, ready to go. I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, not many things in my makeup bag. Only new to brush using at 59 years of age. I've been frightened of, not that I can afford Botox, but I've always been frightened of that sort of thing. And yeah, I know it's worked for many people, particularly if they've got score marks very deep. But I always worry that what happens as you get older, as your eyes get older, you know, something's got. I always feel like your muscles have got to support your face, because if they're paralysed, they're not going to lift, are they? That's my thinking anyway. And yeah, but I'd never say never. You just don't know what's going to happen in life, do you? Anyway, so that's it. I'll just show you my Boots Retinol. I keep forgetting to put on overnight. It's a nighttime moisturiser. Retinol's meant to be for the night, isn't it? And is it niacinamide for the day? And any collagen boosting vitamin C, vitamin E you can get hold of, even better. But as I say, Nivea for me for many years and didn't have any active ingredients. Just kept my face out the sun. And followed Joan Collins, and she ain't doing too bad, is she, for 89 years of age or whatever she is. She's doing pretty well as far as I'm concerned. So very good advice from Joan. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this segment. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now. I meant to say that sometimes I use this little travel Charlotte Tilbury face finishing powder. I forget most of the time, but I'll just show you I've got it. You put a light brush, shake it off, and any T-zone that you don't want to get too shiny, you apply it. So I got a travel one because it's smaller, and I don't use it very often, so there we are. Just thought I'd show you that, I forgot about that. Just to end the vlog there, hope you've enjoyed the vlog. Bit of a mixed bag this week. And I thought I must mention, if you want to clean your brushes, if you have got makeup brushes, you either use a bar of soap or you can use a proper cleansing balm and pad. I've got one from RT Beauty here. I shall link it if it's there. I don't know whether it is. It's got a rough pad and you rub your brushes along once you put the brush into the balm and added water. And it gives you a good way of cleansing your brushes, a nice rough surface to get the brushes nice and clean and all the bristles clean. So I'll end the vlog there and see you again soon. Take care. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not even at 500 yet, so please click that button if you can. Thank you so much. Thanks for your support. Bye for now. And this is the next day with a bit of Rare Beauty highlighter on my cheekbones and above the eyes. And instead of glitter, I've just put a little bit of beigey white eye powder just to give that highlighting of the colour of the eyes. And a bit of gloss on my lips, which I don't normally put on because it annoys me normally. It's not too bad, this one. And yeah, it just remains for me to say Happy Easter because I won't speak to you again. So have a fabulous weekend, and let's hope the weather perks up, because I think it's going to go dull in the UK and a bit rainy, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll catch up with you in a week's time. See you soon. Bye for now. We're on our way to Shelsley Walsh hill climb, and the reason I'm going today is it's the first opening session today, and my nephew Patrick is here, so we said we'd join him. Now, it's the oldest motorsport venue, I didn't realise, in the world still to run events on the original course, and it's older than Indianapolis, Le Mans and Monza. And it says on the website Brooklands has been and gone, but Shelsley Walsh is still here, as old as the sport but as modern as today. And from the beginning, apparently, Shelsley Walsh has never stood still, organising a variety of events spread over many disciplines, from sprints to sporting trials, as well as the Shelsley Walsh speed hill climbs. They feature something for every motorsport and motoring enthusiast, including classic car tours, car club events, breakfast clubs, driving schools and corporate events, including product launches, photo shoots and location filming. And in fact, if you go on the website, you'll find that they even let you venue hire for weddings and the like. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. If you're ever in the area, I urge you to go. And you can see that the place is nestled within these lovely English hills.
When you've got the
Yeah, great.
great little thing that, and really shows that. So not a bad time for him, Sam Taylor in the lead here. Stone Cold Special, that's a big old very special. And I tell you what, have you ever seen the photos, Alex, here up at Toiletry where the spectators at either side of
This gorgeous house here is currently on the market because it used to be a boutique hotel, and it's on the market for 1.3 million, which sounds like a real bargain considering the size, but in fact it's leasehold rather than freehold, and I think that's probably why it hasn't been sold. And there are ducks and geese walking about, there's water, it's so idyllic, and the cars are flying by as well.
But that runs all the time.
Now, my nephew Patrick did a quick introduction for us, and I've had to delete it because it went into high speed and gave me no sound. So, in fact, he was talking about the watermill because his girlfriend's grandfather set it up, called Martin. So that was news to me, and they've still kept this going, and they always have fundraising to try and get all the things mended within this mill. They've done a great job so far, and we had a fantastic host who took us around.
Done by mast. So the radio Times is about 1,000 pages if you added it all up to the whole UK. But you've got your bit. And there's a facsimile of it. Because the BBC keeps all that online.
Wow!
You can still access. That's the radio Times page from that There's things on there you wouldn't say. This is a band of Russian brigands, apparently. It controls everything from. Sorry,
No, what do you mean?
the miller actually controls everything from downstairs under there. And he's got 3 controls. One is the speed at which the grain goes in, and that's a really technical thing. There's a wooden peg in the wall with a piece of string attached to it. And that piece of string is this piece of string. And all it does, the grain goes in there, falls in the shoe, and obviously if the shoe's doing that, it feeds faster than if the shoe's doing that. So that's crucially, the string also pulls it to one side, so that thing rattles it, because obviously if it just sat there it'd do nothing. So the fact that it's doing that makes it so. And I'm sorry, it's an old sexist miller's joke, but that metal thing that's doing all the, because it chatters incessantly, it's known as a damsel. I'm sorry to say.
A damsel, but not in distress.
And then, if it's a go with it, go all there. Ever so complicated. Wind it, good drum, wind it. So the miller's, his little lad goes off to fetch another sack. The miller's down there. It'll get here in a minute. Nothing happens fast. Well, the other thing is we're running very slowly today as well, just ticking over. Hello, mate.
Hello there.
So what the miller's listening for is that happening twice. At which point he pulls on that one, which disengages it and it lowers it down.
Brilliant,
And
thank
by then it's
you.
up there, he throws it in the hoppers feed it down here. Job done. There's these on every floor, so whichever floor you're on you can control the sack voice. And then I mentioned about the fact that the wheels, the stones are able to be lifted and lowered. That's what this jack, that screw jack is there. That's connected, that's hinged, that's on a big beam that's hinged at that end, and sat across it is another big beam that's hinged at both ends. So if you turn that jack about that much, you make about half a mil difference on the stone because it's just leverage.
Just on the way home, I had to stop the car because I couldn't believe how many lambs were tumbling and playing together down the hills. It was fabulous to see. I've often seen lambs playing, but to see about 15 of them jumping on top of each other and rolling down the hills was absolutely hysterical. Really lovely to see, especially with the backdrop of all this blossom. Absolutely gorgeous.